Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck, the delicious mobile coffee truck that brings you the caffeination inspiration you need. We deliver signature coffee products like our Nitro Cold Brew and Caramel Frappe to any occasion or festivity. And for those who don't like coffee, we offer a variety of delicious hot chocolates, energy drinks, lemonades, and teas. That's Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck. All right, welcome back to another edition of the Goblay Show. I'm your host, Billy Goble, and today we have a special guest. He's a former Raider. I'm not quite sure. He'll inform me later about what class he graduated from. I forgot to ask him, and it's been so long, I can't remember. But without further ado, our special guest today is Mr. Yogi Davis. Yogi, welcome to the show, brother.
Man, appreciate you having me on, Billy, man. I'm excited. And it was to the point to where after that game, that was the first state championship I won when I was there. It was to the point after that game, I told the coaches, we didn't even have to be out there. Like the boys could have went out there and played that game and won by themselves. You see what I'm saying? Because I look at that week of preparation, and I love it because you always look at the season as like, it's not about how you started, but how you finish, right? Mm-hmm. And when I tell people this story, one of the things I draw back to is practice that week, right? For the last 2 weeks, actually, the last 2 weeks leading up to that state championship game, when I'm making my defensive line notes, like practice is almost flawless. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like steps, hand placements, reads, spilling the block, pass, like everything at practice is almost flawless. I don't have to put no notes in, right? The film time, everybody, 2 hours of film that week. Everybody, all the players, average of 2 hours of film that week. Yeah. You got some guys with 3 hours, some guys with 4 hours. You see what I'm saying? Just all but, I said to say all that preparation. And then when we get there and we win in the fashion that we won, it was that's why I said, we didn't even have to be there, coach. Right. Because the players, they did that. Yep. You see what I'm saying? They did the work. They watched them. They practiced freaking flawlessly. They watched film for 2, 3, 4 hours this week. So that next year, 2020, that was COVID year, we ended up losing in the second round of the playoffs to Hazard. So we beat Hazard 2 weeks before, right? We went to their place, beat them at their house, and then they came to us the second round of the playoffs in 2020 and beat us at Hill Field. I'll never forget it. Worst feeling. You talking about being humbled? Oh man, that was the biggest piece of humble pie I think I ever had in my life. But they beat us in the second round, and that was just horrible. And then Paintsville, the team we beat before, 4-3-0, they ended up going to win the state championship in 2020. So 2021, right, we in the offseason in the weight room, and so my mantra that year was one more rep. Right? Oh no. That was after the Beechwood loss. It was one more rep. That was because we lost by 1 point to Beechwood. So that next offseason, that was my mantra. That 2019 year was one more rep, right? Because we lost by 1 point. But going into the 21 season, it was revenge, right? It was, we cannot afford to take no plays off. We can't afford to look past nobody. You see what I'm saying? We can't afford to do none of that. We got to stay course and do what we do. So we ended up making it back to the state championship in 2021, playing a school called Russellville. And Russellville kind of came out of nowhere, but they were loaded. 1A school, they had 30 kids, 20 of them were seniors. You see what I'm saying? They were supposed to be there that year. And so super athletic team from Western Kentucky. And us in Eastern, when we was in Eastern Kentucky, we might not necessarily be the fastest, but we go strong. We strong. We gonna hit you in the mouth. That was the brand of football we played at Pikeville.
Right.
But those guys in Western Kentucky, your Paducah Tillmans and, your Russellville and things that like, them guys got some burners they can run.
Right.
So we get there and, it's kind of we get out on them pretty early. They end up running the kick return back. And I was a special team coordinator too. I did special teams as well while I was there. They end up running the kick return back right before halftime. And it was just like, I can't think of the score, but it brought them close. You see what I'm saying? Like it made it a game at this point to where they was getting the ball back right after halftime.
Right.
So we come back out after halftime. They get the ball. I think they go down and score again. We end up winning that game 30-27 against Russellville. So that was the second state championship we had got while I was there. And then 22, we end up making it back to play a school called Raceland, right? And Raceland is another traditionally good program in the state of Kentucky. We end up playing Raceland that year for the state championship. I think that was a 41-9 victory.
Oh wow!
I think we beat them 41-9. But so we got to do back to back, and I got that third, and that was the third ring I got while I was there. So, and so going into the off season of 23, my wife, she took a new job, and so I don't know. There's a ed tech company called iReady, and they do like.
Oh yeah.
You know about iReady. Okay.
Yeah, good. Yeah. My wife is she's an elementary director, so we know all about that.
So my wife, she works for iReady. She does professional development for them,
yep.
Right?
Okay. Yep.
And so she travels around the state of Kentucky. So we live in Eastern Kentucky, and she's having to drive to like Louisville and Lexington to work, and that's like a 3-hour drive, right? She got to be there at like 7:30 in the morning. You see what I'm saying? God. And so, and so she having to, leave at 4 a.m. sometimes. And then, because she's really good at her job. So like they would take her and fly her to like New York to do PD, or fly her to Cape Cod, or fly her to Georgia. Like they flew my wife like everywhere to do PD, but she would be driving home like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning from the airport. And one night she had gotten a car accident. Like she spun out because it was raining hard, and she hit she hit one of the side rails. Thankfully, nothing happened. She was able to make it home safe. Right. But I was like, I gotta try something.
Something's got to give.
See what I'm saying? I have to try something because this is what she's been working for. Yep. Right? Like my wife is like an education nerd. Yeah. She loves it. And to be in the position where like she really worked for this. So I see this job at Frankfurt open up. I'm not looking. That's the only job I applied for. I'm not looking to go anywhere. I just see the location. It's between Louisville and Lexington. And my wife, this is where most of her work takes place. So I talked to Coach Mack, the head coach of Pikeville, and I'm like, Coach, what do you think about Frankfurt? And he was like, well, Coach, if you want to get a head coaching job and get into it, that'll be a great place to get your start. Right. So I get Coach Mack blessing on it. And mind you, the only head coaching experience I got is what I did at Chapel Hill, but that really wasn't like, the administration part, because there's more to it than calling plays.
Oh yeah.
So I interview for the job. I go in there, I put my best foot forward. The worst thing they could tell me is no. If this don't work, then maybe we can just move a little bit closer, and I have a commute to work. So that was my wife. And you see what I'm saying? So we'll have to figure something out. But my wife wasn't going to be driving 3 hours every day to go to work. Like we weren't going to be doing that. So I applied for the job. They called me. I come up here. I interview. I don't know much about Frankfurt. I just knew it was the city capital, the state capital.
Yep, state capital.
So I applied for the job. They end up hiring me, and it was just kind of like I was taken aback. Like, wow, this really happened. You feel like I'm really a head coach. And obviously a lot of prayer and things of that nature. Just kind of like, hey, this, and it was really, There was a college in Pikeville called U Pike. They're the Bears, ironically.
Okay.
I would have loved to coach for them, being Yogi. I got a really good coach, really good relationship with Coach Phipps, the head coach there. Coach Phipps is a great guy, doing great things with that program. I actually got a couple of my former players at Pikeville playing for them. They just lost in like the third round of the NAIA playoffs.
Okay.
So Coach Phipps doing a really good job at UPike right now. But they had an assistant coach job open up around the same time I applied to interview for this. And so I kind of had the option, right? I either could have went to be a college football coach, which is something like I really, really wanted to do, or I had an option to come here and be a head coach. And, not necessarily, and it was just like, thinking about my wife once again, like, this is probably the best situation for my family, right? So we end up moving here. And I get here, and it's just, it's a little bit different, right? Obviously, they won 7 games the year before. Traditionally not really like it's not really a powerhouse in the state. You see what I'm saying? Like they've had some up years, right? Like 2013, 2014. Like they've won some region titles, and I think that, they made it to the state game like back in like the 90s, maybe the 70s, but it's not like a perennial powerhouse in the state of Kentucky.
Right.
And so I get here, find out a little bit more about the program, a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of politics, a little bit of administration stuff going on. You see what I'm saying? I'm finding out a little bit more as I get here. But, I meet the kids and I look at the kids and it's just like instant.
Yeah.
Like this one I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like this one I'm supposed to be at. Yep. So, I get here and my first year, it's kind of like it's always been, Frankfurt has the athletes, there's no discipline. Right. That's what I've always heard. I got athletes, sending guys to UK and Louisville and whatnot, but they just don't have no discipline. There's no structure. So I get here. My first year here was really just kind of like, I got to set the tone. You see what I'm saying? I had a big personality last year. I had to kind of minimize him. But he ended up, he had an opportunity to go play college football. It didn't work out for him. But I get here last year, my first year, I think we went 4-7. I won 4 games. Mind you, I've never called offense before. I'm a defensive guy, right? I never called offense. I've always wanted to. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And now I'm in this position where I kind of have to. So, I get in here, I'm calling the offense. I'm calling the offense and defense and special teams. I was doing everything my first year here. You know what I'm saying? I had some decent coaches, but, nothing like we need to be successful. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I realized I can't do this by myself. Yeah. I know I'm a good coach. I know I'm a good football coach. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But in the role I'm in, I can only do so much because I definitely need to be able to delegate, right? So my first year here was just kind of like, hey, I'm coming in, guns blazing. This is how I do stuff. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? This is how I want stuff done. Right. You see what I'm saying? So, but I still got some guys here, kept some guys on staff, from the old regime, that really wasn't kicking it and wasn't feeling it. And in my eyes, I'm thinking we on the same page, but, come to find out that wasn't the case. But that's neither here nor there. So I get here, we go 4-7. I win a playoff game my first year though. Beat Nicholas County pretty handily. Then we end up losing to Raceland in the second round. My first year here. Then we're going to the off season. Great off season. We got 16, 17 kids in the weight room. Tempo, installing that tempo-based workouts. Getting bigger, faster, stronger. So we get here. Great off season. Get to the beginning of the season. Have some kids transfer in. Have some kids transfer out. Have some kids leave that's supposed to have been here that would have helped us out tremendously. But this year, man, had a great group of skill guys, Coach. I mean, oh my God, I hate the way the season ended because this group of skill that I had this year was phenomenal. I mean, athletically, those guys were phenomenal. Right. Now, work ethic. Well, obviously, I'm coming in to change the culture. You see what I'm saying? And so work ethic culture here is not great. You see what I'm saying? Everybody want to be a winner, but nobody knows or nobody knows the work it takes to become a winner. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So athletically, yeah, they have some great skill guys, but as far as the work ethic go, there's still a lot to be desired. You see what I'm saying? And that's just across the board with the whole organization.
Right.
So we get here this past year. You know, we won some games that we lost last year. Right? We played some 5A schools out of Louisville. And we won those games. You know, some of them teams beat us last year, but we beat those teams this year. And so we get the district. We played a school called Eminence, and it was a dumpster fire. It was a game we were supposed to win, but we ended up losing 50-26. You know, it just kind of got away from us. You know, bad defensive game.
Yeah.
You know, just all around. It's not a great game overall from anybody. So, you know, then we play a school called Sayre. So I'm gonna tell you about Sayre. So you know Chad Pennington.
Yeah.
Everybody in Florida know the name Chad Pennington.
Yep.
He's the head coach of Sayre High School in my district.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they just won the Class A state championship in Kentucky. So we played them second game district. They beat us 42-0. His son is a stud. They got a receiver named Brock Kaufman. He's going to the University of Louisville. Like, Coach Pennington has done a great job.
Right.
And he's only been there for 6 years. Like, that program didn't have football for like 40 years. Coach Pennington started that program like 6. I remember playing him in Pikeville, and we freaking have a running clock by the end of the first quarter.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now, 6 years later, he's won his first state championship at a school that hadn't had football for 40 years.
That's awesome.
You see what I'm saying? So I tell you, the craziest thing, Billy, is like, I text him and he texts back and is like, I'm texting Chad Pennington. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta remember, like, hey, you a coach, I'm a coach. Like, we in the same district. Like, we ops. But like, dude, I used to watch you on Sunday.
Yep.
I used to cheer for you, like, throw touchdown. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like laid back, down to earth. Probably like hands down one of the greatest guys I've met.
Well, you probably cheered for him as a Dolphin, not as a Jet.
No. Could care less for him as a Jet. I told him when I first met him, I was just like, dude, like, I was a big fan of yours when you was in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Then I went over there and proceeded to get smoked 42-0. But, you know, maybe I was a little starstruck. Maybe he just got a really good football team. Either or. But yeah, so this past year, man, and you know what, Billy, like, just as a head coach, man, that's why I was saying earlier about when we're talking about Tebow and Dion. You know, like when God has a purpose for your life, and people don't understand it and people don't like it, like, you're always going to meet friction. Yep. And so these last 2 years, I've met a lot of friction with people that I thought had my back. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I get it. You know, hey, you know, I'm a new guy. I'm coming in. I do things different. You know, I mean, that's probably why the culture's the way it is, because y'all expect stuff to be done a certain way, and it's like, that way he's not getting it done.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's why you get the results you get. Like, that's great. Like, y'all won 12, 13 games a couple years ago, but like, the goal is to sustain that. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? The goal is to maintain that. The goal is to set a standard and to have a culture from middle school, you know, from the kids playing in Little League all the way up to high school. Yep. You see what I'm saying? And so, you know, so this year, something that I'm going into is I'm learning. I'm gonna do a whole lot more with my middle school program, right? Like, I'm like, they're gonna be in the weight room with us in January. You know, when we start working out, when we come back from Christmas break, like, my middle school team, they're going to be in the weight room working out too.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Like, getting those guys invested, getting those guys bought in, getting those guys around the high school guys, so they can know what kind of culture climate that we're trying to create.
Right.
Same with my middle school head coach, right? I'm letting him know, hey, listen, I'm going to have a playbook for you. First play y'all learning is power right, 24 down, right 24, whatever you want to call it. You see what I'm saying? That's going to be the plays that we learn. It's going to be the plays that we run, right? We gotta establish a physical brand of football. Yep. And I think kind of like where I messed up early on was, like, I came here because Pikeville, we were zone based, right? We could run inside zone. We had the guys to run. You see what I'm saying? But they're already bigger and stronger than a lot of their opponents. You see what I'm saying? So I came here kind of with that same mindset of kind of like wanting to spread it out because we got athletes and do X, Y, and Z and throw quick screens and run zone. But I kind of forgot the bread and butter of football is being able to hit somebody in the mouth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
And so that's why, like, this year, I'm kind of switching up my playbook a little bit, and I'm going back to that power out formation. We're going to run some flex bone. We're going to run a lot of counter. We're going to run a lot of power. It's going to be 11 personnel, 20 personnel, 20. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're not spreading the fill out. We're going to still spread it out a little bit. We're going to spread it out to run it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we have to be able to establish that physical brand of football. And I'm super excited for this offseason. Like you have no idea, man. Like, I hate the way the season ended.
Yeah.
I hate the way these seniors and the way they season ended. Like I said, it's a great group. But some of the challenges I having to face this last year and this year was guys missing practice.
Yep.
You see, for whatever reason.
Yep.
Right. And I get it, right? Y'all, everybody got life and got certain stuff going on. But, at the end of the day, it's like, how bad do you really want this?
And start crab walking.
Like, even if you sick, I tell the kids all the time, man, I ain't no sick in Florida. I'm coming to practice to try to get over my cold. Yep. That was my thought process. I thought I'd come out there if I ran around and hit people, that I'd get it up out, man. I feel better.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, coach, I'm sick or whatever. And that, once again, like I said, that's a culture thing. But I can tell you what.
Yeah.
This junior class I got coming up, guess what? These guys, they don't miss.
Yep.
This sophomore class I got coming up, guess what? These guys, they don't miss. They there every day.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? This freshman class coming up, these guys don't miss. You see what I'm saying? So slowly but surely, that culture piece is starting to change. You see what I'm saying? And the way I go about it, my methods, hey, they may be unorthodox. Some people may not like them. I know people don't like them. But you know what? That's fine.
Right.
Because everything that I do is for the betterment of this program. It's for the betterment of these kids.
Yep.
So right now, man, it's kind of where I'm at, where we're at Frankfurt. I got, having to switch up my coaching staff. I got some good, I call them young coaches, but they're older than me. But this last year was their first year coaching varsity football.
Experience.
So when I say young, I mean experience-wise, yes. Right.
Yep.
But I got some young coaches that are hungry and they're alumni from Frankfurt, and they want the best and they want to see this program be as high as it can be. You see what I'm saying? So I'm starting to groom these guys in the court for coordinator positions.
Yep.
Right? Because I'm telling them, like, our facility's not the best. So one of my goals is all season, Billy. I'm trying to raise $100,000 to invest in my facilities.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And so something I'm telling my coaching staff is like, guys, I have to be able, and I haven't been able to do this the last 2 years, Billy. You're right. I have to be able to step away from the weight room and not worry about the tempo changing.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? I need to be able to step away from the film room and not worry about the message changing.
Right.
I need to be able to step away so I can make phone calls, so I can go meet alumni, so I can start. You see what I'm saying? I need to be able to step away and do certain. And this is stuff right here you don't think about as an assistant coach, right? I hate it. Kind of took me 2 years to kind of get here, but I'm here now. I see the silver lining, and so I'm putting it on my coaching staff to say, hey, y'all want opportunity and y'all want responsibility. Well, I'm about to give it to you. Right. I'm putting you over the weight room. I'm putting you over the locker room. This is what we're doing. This is our plan. So now I can step away and do that administrative task because, I kind of like it. I'm a people person. I don't mind sitting down talking to somebody. Yep. You see what I'm saying? I don't mind interacting with somebody. But at the same time, I need to know when I step out of my weight room, my 40-second tempo is 40-second tempo. It's not 50. It's not a minute. It's not no tempo at all. The tempo that I set day one is the tempo that's there on day 100 if I'm not in there.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we doing certain stuff right now, man, with the middle school program and the youth league, just to try to get people excited about Frankfurt football.
Yep.
And I think that we're headed in the right direction. I think the community is excited. I think these kids are excited. You know, we're sending kids to college. We got kids getting offers, and you know, we got kids talking to college coaches. I know the transfer portal, I think it's going to close here, so I'm looking forward to the spring, to where, you know, we got coaches in the hallways recruiting our kids. You know, and I got this sweatshirt, man, that say "All for Frankfurt," because I'm bought in, Billy.
Yep.
You know, I want to be here. I want to build here. You know, I want to, you know, I want to do what Coach Sherman did for Cy Sumter.
Absolutely.
I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's what I want. That's what I want my legacy to be. And I'll start a petition. They need to build a statue of Coach Sherman. You say what you want.
Like Bud Kilmer.
Hey, you can name the stadium and the field after him all you want, but it don't mean that till you build a statue, in my opinion.
Whether your water is supplied by a public municipality or a private well, for residential or commercial use, Purified Water Services LLC has the solutions to provide you with simply clean water. We offer a complete line of professional water filtration equipment and accessories. Soft water makes a difference you can see and feel. Water heater and appliances last longer with less maintenance. Iron and H2S filters eliminate iron stains and offensive rotten egg odors, and protects your water softener equipment from iron fouling. No matter what your problem is, Purified Water Services LLC has a solution. Contact Kenny Williams at 352-446-2709. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal & Clark, and Kingston paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here, along with all the accessories to go with it. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store. Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Pennsaukena's newest tap room, offering 14 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beers, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and puff. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to come hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app. Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Duto Realty is a homegrown business with an eye for getting the job done right. From football games to Sunday school and everything in between, these ladies care about our community and the people in it, helping buyers and sellers in all of Florida with all types of transactions, including residential, commercial, farm, or vacant land. They do it all. They even offer auction services and sellouts to always get the job done right.
That's true. You got to put a statue of Sherman somewhere, man. So y'all, I said it first. Yogi Davis said it first, starting it. Building a statue for Coach Sherman and Cy Sumter.
I love
Let's get that thing.
I love it.
I invest all I can, but we need to do that. But yeah, man. So that's just kind of my mindset. You know, when I look at Frankfurt, it's just I see the potential. I see what can be, and I know that I'm doing right by these kids. You see what I'm saying? I know that personally, people may not like how I operate my personal, and that's fine. I can care less. But when it comes down to what's best for these kids, hey, you can never say Coach Davis leading them astray.
Yep. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it all comes down to is the kids, man. It's about being that leadership role, being that fatherly figure. Like you said, you know, it don't matter if it's in Kentucky, South Sumter, North Carolina, Wyoming. Kids are not going to have the people that they need around them. It's just due to circumstances, they're not going to have that fatherly figure. Some of them are not, and that's just the way it is. It's not. No. It's not. And trust me, I know they didn't pick that. That's something they didn't choose. It just happens. Yeah. And but that should make you want to do more for kids like that. Like, you know, there's kids that are in poverty. There's kids that play sports to get away from drugs or being, you know, living in poverty or a bad lifestyle at home. That's why they stay late and work out. That's why they do all these things to get away from that and not entertain the thought that I might have to go and be tempted by my surroundings of ending up the same way. Yeah. And I think everybody, you know, there's kids out there. I know they don't get a fair shake. I know that, and it sucks. I feel for them. I really do, and I wish I could handle every situation and make it better for them. But the thing is, it's a partnership. Once you go so far, they have to do the rest. You can make them go and do things or give them a fresh start, but if you're good. I just saw a video the other day on it was on social media somewhere. There's a sheep gets stuck in a ditch, and the guy comes in there, and I mean he's in the ditch getting the sheep out, and he lets it go, and 10 seconds later, this sheep's back in the ditch. What are you going to do? How do you did what you could. They have to do the rest. Now, if they go back in, that's on them, but at least give every kid a fair shake and, you know, by helping them. I tell my kids, you know, I can't want it for you. Yeah. You know, I say all the time, can't do it for you. Yeah.
No, I want you to be great, right? I know what's on the other side of hard work. I know what's on the other side of this. I know what's on the other side of what you want to accomplish. But you know, you gotta be able to look past. Man, I don't want to take this algebra class. Man, I don't want to do this English work. You gotta be able to look past that, right? Because if that's gonna hinder you from being successful, then you'll never be successful.
No. And you know, I've said this before on the podcast. It's been a while, but you know, John Madden. I've always looked at John Madden, and you talk about someone who knew football. You know the way he did, and he said one time that this was early in his career because Vince Lombardi was still alive. Vince Lombardi had a coach's clinic that he was at, and he was or it was a coaching clinic or seminar or whatever, and John Madden took a bus there. Okay, it's one of those things where he didn't have the money. He just scrimped up money to go and listen to Vince Lombardi. He says, I thought I knew football. He said Vince Lombardi talked about one play for 8 hours. One play. He said he talked about the Buck sweep, the famous sweep that he pretty much immortalized as one of the greatest plays at that time era that nobody could stop. And he said he put so much emphasis on that play that they ran it to perfection. That's why you couldn't stop it. He said, if this guy can talk for 8 hours about one play, he goes, I could talk about it maybe 8 minutes. Mm-hmm. This guy did an 8 hour coaches clinic, like an 8 hour seminar on the one play. And if you put that much time and effort into one play, imagine what you could do with, if you applied yourself to other things. This is it. Yeah. It's just about how bad you want it. It's about your character. It's about what were our abilities. It's not always about our abilities. It's about how bad we want something.
Absolutely.
My dad one time said that he wanted he's always wanted a car like a Mustang or whatever, and or just a nice car, and this guy that he worked with had this brand new car truck. I can't remember which vehicle it was, but it was a new car. And he said, man, how in the world do you pay for that car? It's got to be a lot of money. And he said, well, it's something I really wanted. And he said, I have 3 jobs. So I work 3 jobs to pay for this car and to make myself comfortable. Mm-hmm. And my dad said, I don't know about all that. And he goes, well, then I don't think you want it that bad enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, really, if you want something bad enough, then you're going to do whatever you, and that's a story that I'll always remember. Like I tell my son, look, if you want something bad enough, you'll do whatever it takes to get what that is,
Absolutely.
And it's just all about hard work and dedication.
And into that too, man, is just also, having to put guardrails on that by reminding them about integrity. You see what I'm saying? Like get where you want to get, but make sure you do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like be good to people. Make sure, you know what I'm saying, when you talking about somebody, or you doing something about somebody, like do it with pure intention. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, hey, your motive will be exposed. Right. And if you're doing something with malintent or with ulterior motives, you see what I'm saying? It's gonna be a lot hard. You might get what you're trying to get. Right. But now you know what it is. When you get something, now it's about maintaining it. Now it's about sustaining it. Now it's about keeping it up. You see what I'm saying? If you do it the right way, it's gonna be a whole lot easier to keep it and maintain it. Right. Because you already, hey, I done did it right to get here. So there's gonna be no type of friction to keep me from excelling and doing what I'm doing, right? But if you always doing something with no integrity and you trying to undermine people and get by, man, for one, you'll be miserable. And for 2, you ain't gonna keep up with whatever you're trying to keep up with.
That's true.
So that's one of our words, man, that, integrity. I try to instill that in my kids, doing the right thing when nobody's looking. Yep. You know what I'm saying? You walk by,
character.
You see, that character. You see somebody, needs some help. Hey, go help them out, right? Yep. If I ask you to watch film, or it's a requirement to watch film, then don't just cut on and click through the film. Yep. Because at the end of the day, you're not hurting. You hurting yourself. You hurting the team. Yep. You see what I'm saying? So if you do it right the first time, then I think usually it goes from, I think Coach Brian used to say the first time I heard it, Coach Brian, you do it right, do it light. Do it wrong, you do it long. I'd never forget, Coach Brian used to say that all the time, man. And
he says it to our kids all the time.
He still say it?
Yep, he says it all the time. After every practice, Brian, after every breakdown at the end of the practice or a game, he always says, do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long. Yep. Yeah. Every time.
I'm gonna start breaking it down on there. That might be something we start. Yep. But it's going up though, man. I like I said, this is a blessing. I'm grateful. I love my administration. I got a great principal. I got a great athletic director. I got a great superintendent. I love the people I work with. And I just hope and I pray and I continuously pray for this community. I just pray that God give me the wisdom and the words and the, just guide my steps, as I'm in this leadership role, because I know it's bigger than me. You see what I'm saying? And I know that at the end of the day, every decision I make, is not only impacting me, it's making an impact that will last a lifetime. Whatever I do, what I say and my actions, that stuff's kids go remember that.
Oh yeah.
Because what's the old saying? People don't remember what you do.
It's how that's how they feel.
Remember how you make them
feel. How you made them feel. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's something like I try to go, and I'm one of those guys, in the morning, I'm in the cafeteria. That's my post in the morning. I'm one of those good morning. Every day, everybody walk in the door. Good morning. Good morning. Have a good day. Have a good day. Just because in my mind, I was like, man, maybe ain't nobody told them that.
Yeah.
Maybe ain't nobody, maybe they haven't heard good morning. Maybe nobody's told them to have a good day.
It's the little things that add up, man. I'm telling you.
And builds morale.
Yep. I used to think, kids like in a bad school. I don't have any. I'm not naming anybody, but I'm just saying just say a bad school anywhere.
Yeah.
Who do you always blame first? The kids.
The kids.
You always blame the kids first. But I learned a long time ago, and I'm guilty of it myself, because I'd be like, oh, yeah, it's probably the kids' fault. But I didn't realize how much love those kids needed. They just want to be loved. That's basically all it is. They just need some love. They just need somebody to say they care about them. And you don't know the impact that has on someone until you see it when you say something like that. Just like you said, just by saying good morning. Well, I've never had anybody say that. Or we do this or something. Well, we ain't never done that before. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what race. Doesn't matter what creed. Does not matter where you're from. It's sometimes you're like, are you kidding me? Because you're like, and that's something that I've heard since I was a kid. Some people don't. Some people don't.
And my wife, she tell me, I love my wife. But sometimes she say, "Hey, it costs nothing to be nice."
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It costs nothing to put a smile on.
Absolutely.
And be nice. You know what I'm saying? It costs nothing.
Yep. Absolutely.
So that's something like, in the hallways with my students every day, and just, with my boys, and I love them. They drive me up a wall. But I got gray hair in my beard, Billy. I got gray hair, bro. I just turned 32 on the 21st, and I got gray hair coming out my beard and up my hair. But like I said, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it no other way, because like when I first got here, I meet these inner city kids. The exterior, like they tough, they look, whatever. But when they get that first offer, when they get that first scholarship, and they look at you and they want to cry, you see what I'm saying? And they hug you, or they get a national, or they get player of the week in the newspaper. You see what I'm saying? Or they get a good grade on the test, that they thought they was gonna do bad on, but Coach Davis encouraged them and told them, hey, go to study hall or go to ESS. You see what I'm saying? I got a kid here from Germany. We got a foreign exchange student here from Germany. Oh, wow. And he had a little, with his host family, had a little rough situation a couple of days before Christmas. So I went and picked my guy up. We went to a big movie theater in Lexington, at the recliner seats, and watched Gladiator 2. And then I took him I asked him, he's from Germany. So I asked him, what's your favorite American food? He said fried chicken. So we went, found this dope little fried chicken spot. You see what I'm saying? And we sat down and we ate chicken there. And I say that because, for him, with his experience, with him being from Germany, right? When he go back home, that's the type of stuff that he's going to hang on to that for the rest of his life. Yeah,
he will remember that till he's dead. Yes, exactly.
And that's going to be something that I'm hoping that just extending that being nice to him and taking that time to spend with him and doing certain things. And I wish I had him for another year. Yeah. Because he could play football. It was different for him because this ain't like Germany football. No, Billy, that was the funniest thing his first week here. I get him after my first practice, Billy, he dead out there. I mean, he crawling on the ground. He don't know. So I say, you all right? He said, this is not German football. He said, this is not German football. I say, yeah, this is the real deal Holyfield over here, But, he loved it, and that's why he came here. You see what I'm saying? He came here for academics, but he also wanted to play football. And so now it's to the point to where he wants to go back to Germany, join a football club in Germany, and then after he's done with school over there, he wants to come back to college in America. Yeah. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I think about that, and it's just one of those situations to where, I feel like, God brought me here for a reason, but I look at that situation like thank God I met Carl.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Thank God I met this kid from Germany, because if it could have been anybody else in my situation, it could have been anybody else in his role that didn't treat him and show him the love that he's been shown since he's been in America.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I love what I do, man. I'm so thankful that I've been blessed with this opportunity, and and I tell people I want to be at Frankfurt as long as Frankfurt want me here.
Yeah.
Like I say, I know, I always, me and my wife, we always talk about coming back to Florida, because that's, eventually that's gonna happen, right? Like I've been away from my mama now. I'm 32. That's 14 years. I left at 18. So like I've been away from my mama now for 14 years, bro.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely gonna come to a point. I don't know, probably no time soon, but definitely in the future.
Right.
I would like to. And my wife, for some reason, she loved manatees. And she loved the beach.
We got plenty of those down here.
I know. And she just thinks Florida is, it's hot all the time. My daughter, she loved to swim. And so, it definitely, that's definitely something I would love to be able to do, is to bring my family back to Florida. And I was even in talks with it, a few years ago, talking to Coach Lawrence and, trying to maybe work something out, coming back to South Sumter, but, stuff works out how it works out, but I love this community.
Right. It always works out, man. It always works out.
It does. It does. And I love to come back home. When I do come home, that's one of the first places I go. I always go see Coach Sherman. I always go see Coach Lawrence. That's just like one of my first stops. I always go back to South Sumter.
Yep.
So.
Well, you look good in orange and blue, brother. I'm just telling you, you look good in orange and blue.
I'm about to cut this off, man. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Because I tell you what, it done grow on to me, man. And we did a Secret Santa at work the other day, and it was like, "What's your favorite color?" And I put blue and orange.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look at
that. I'm bought in. I'm all for Frankfurt, man. So just know, anybody watching this right now, this is for Frankfurt. This is not a Florida Gator hat. I am a Seminole. Till the day I die, I am a Seminole. So this is not Florida. This is Frankfurt, okay? So don't get it confused. Well, it's all Frankfurt, baby.
Hey, I still love you, Yogi. I still love you. But
oh yeah, I love you too, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you got the chance to come on. Like I said, it's been in the works for quite some time, and I know you've been busy. And after hearing all this, now I know why you've been so busy. Kind of communicating back and forth, and trying to find a spot, a day that this works. But hey, before we wrap this up, I just gotta because you're in the state, I gotta ask. I love this show called Justified. Do you ever watch Justified?
My in-laws watch it. I haven't watched it.
Oh man, you gotta watch Yogi. You gotta watch it, bro. It's so good. Place
in Kentucky.
It sure as hell does. Yes.
Really, I'm gonna have to watch it now. I didn't know that.
It starts now. I'm not gonna lie. It starts in Florida. He's in Miami. He's a U.S. Marshal. And he's in Miami, and then he ends up getting into Kentucky, and from then on, it's all in Kentucky, and it's great. Like after you watch, I've only been to Kentucky like 2 times in my life. Okay, we
gotta get you back up here, man.
Well, last year we went to the Ark. We went to the Ark.
You texted me. You told me about that.
Yeah, I was going to be in the area. Yep. So we came down. We came down 75, and that's the only time I've been to. And a little. I think the other time I was in there was in Paducah. Which was on the left side. Bottom. You just barely go through. We were going to out west, but anyways. But yeah, you have to watch it. You got to. I'm gonna check back in with you and be like, dude, did you watch it? It's on Disney Plus. It was on Hulu. It might still be on Hulu, but I've been watching. I've seen it twice all the way through. There's like 6 or 7 seasons. So, but it's so good. And then they made a sequel to the series. So,
but I'm gonna check it out.
The second one, he's in Detroit a lot because it'll tie itself in. But anyways, but the first one, he actually grew up in Harlan, Kentucky, which is right there. Yeah. So when you said you were talking about the mountains and the mountain people earlier, I'm thinking, my God, he's got to watch the show. It's so good. It's so good. It came out probably, I don't know, 2009 or 10, and it still holds itself up. I mean, they do have flip phones in the series, but other than that, bro, it's still good. They're talking about drinking Pappy Van Winkle. And if you ever find me a bottle, let me know. I want a bottle of that. Anyways, sidebar. But other than that, listen, I wish you the best in this new year of 2025 coming up. And listen, I've always been a big fan of yours. I always will be. I love calling you when you win a state championship and congratulating you. I mean, it's so awesome to see other players, former players, go off and do such great things. I mean, and it doesn't have to be on a football field where you're playing necessarily, but you being there, or it doesn't matter what you do in life, as long as you're doing something positive and you're creating these, extending this tradition that we call the tradition never graduates. So, but hey, listen, I appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you too, Billy.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing, and I think
thank you.
Keep going, and
appreciate it.
Maybe we can, look at maybe later on, middle of the year, maybe hop back on doing a part 2.
Yeah.
Like a little preseason preview or something.
Yeah.
But just before we get off,
go ahead.
My wife, she always talked to me about Disney. And I always tell her that
I was going to bring that up. Disney, I was going to bring it up, but I didn't want to bring it up.
I went with my boy Billy. Me and you, I think it was Chanston. Me and you and Chanston went to Disney, man, and that's another one of my fond memories, man. That's why you will always have a special place in my heart, Billy. I love you.
I appreciate it, man. I love you too, man.
And I appreciate you, man.
Hey, before we definitely sign off, I gotta say this. I gotta tell the story real quick, and then we'll go.
I'm here.
I don't know if you remember this. We went to Epcot. We got on. You already know what I'm talking about. we went to Epcot. We went to Soarin', and Yogi's big behind takes the seat belt, and on the seat of the Soarin', you've got the seat, and in the middle is a loop strap for the kids. Okay, and Yogi takes his seat belt, runs it through the strap like he might fall out if he doesn't put the strap on normally, and then buckles the strap on, and it's cutting his. He's like, "Oh my God!" And he's like, "Billy, help me!" And I'm like, "What's wrong, bud?" He goes, I something's wrong with the seatbelt." And I'm like, "What's wrong with it?" And I look down, and it's through the loop. I'm like, "Yogi, that's for kids. That's for like a 5-year-old, brother. You have exceeded that triple." Okay.
Oh my God! That was funny, man. I tell my wife that all the time. Yeah, but look, man, I appreciate you. I think, and look, another thing too, man. Hey, this is a great episode. Coming and bringing it to the new year, starting the thing all right. Yep. You see what I'm saying? So I really appreciate this, Billy. This was great. This was awesome. Like I said, I look forward. Yeah, man. Maybe, like I said, doing it again before the season starts, brother.
Yes, sir. I wish you the best for everything, man, this year. Guys, that has been our episode with Yogi Davis. He a 3-time state championship winner as a coach. And guys, I just want to thank you for joining us. Thank you for our sponsors out there. Without you, this can't happen. So we really appreciate your support. And until next time, we'll see you guys. Bye, everybody.
Statue for Sherman. Sherman statue. I said it first.